Welcome back to Section 5 of Unit 4. And Section 5 deals with objective statement for lesson. At the end of this session, you should be able to identify and explain the features of good mathematics lesson. An objective is a clear, precise statement that describes the skills and knowledge that a learner should gain at the end of the instruction. Then this statement describes an intended outcome of the instruction. And one thing we should know is that a clear statement or a statement of clear lesson objective is a key to guiding where you are going. An objective statement should be a clear description of the behavior expected of students at the end of the instruction, along with the conditions and the degree of mastering required. An objective should be stated in observable and measurable of what students should be able to do by the end of the lesson. That's where we think about SMART. So the objective should be specific, should be measurable, should be achievable, should be realistic, and should be time bound. When you say objective should be specific, what does it mean? The objective should indicate who is the target group or target population. What will be accomplished or what will be accomplished. When you say objective should be measurable, is the objective quantifiable? You ask yourself, is the objective quantifiable? Can it be measured? How much change is expected in the lesson or after the lesson? Your change that you expect or the measurable quantifiers, are they achievable? So achievable come in, and we are saying that or it should be achievable. Whatever you have, the objective you are choosing should be achievable. So can the objective be accomplished in the proposed time or in the proposed time frame with the available resources and support? Is it realistic? Does the objective address the goal? Would the objective have an impact on the goal? And we are saying the objective should be time bound. Does the objective propose a timeline that the objectives will be met? Does the objective propose a timeline that the objectives should be met? So it should be SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and an instructional objective should state what you expect the student to know cognitively, and be able to do, that's behaviorally, as a result of your lesson. It should describe how the students will show what they have learned. Then instructional objective place much emphasis on what the student will do, not upon what the teacher will do. They should indicate how learning is to be observed or evaluated. It's very important to specify precisely what you want your students to learn from any given activity, and students should be told what is expected of them on completion of their lesson. They should know. There are two general types of objectives: process and outcome. So we go into it. Process objectives usually focus on the activities to be completed in a specific time period. They are meant to support accountability by setting specific activities to be completed by specific deadline and explain what and when it will be completed. Outcome objective refers to the expected results by the end of the specific period. Outcome objectives are meant to be realistic targets for an instruction and become the yardstick by which the lesson accomplishments will be assessed. So you can ask this kind of question: who is going to do what, when, and how, when, and to what extent that the thing should be done. These are the outcome objectives. Well, when selecting an instruction objective for use in teaching, use a verb which describes observable actions or actions which have observable products. Example: identify, to choose, to solve, to calculate, to analyze, to explain, etc. These are observable products or observable actions. So these are some of the things that we can choose. Vague verbs like to know, to believe, to understand, to appreciate are not observable and should be avoided. You can see at the end of the lesson the students will be able to believe, or the students will believe that, will be able to appreciate that. These are some of the words that need to be avoided in your objective statement. Usually the syllabus has objective stated for listed topics. These are usually parts of a large set of goals. So you can easily rely on some of the objectives that the syllabus have stated. Example: some of the examples for objectives. By the end of this lesson, or by the end of the lesson, the students will be able to: 1. Use the protractor to measure interior angles of several triangles and generalize that sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So help them to draw several triangles and measure all the interior angles, and realize that they are getting something closer to 180. All of them are getting something either at 180, closer to 180, or a little beyond 180. So we can generalize that interior angles of a triangle sum up to 180 degrees. Another objective is to use a rule to find the third angle of a triangle when two angles are given. And to solve simultaneous linear equations involving two variables or two unknown by method of substitution. Two unknown variables by method of substitution is also one of the objectives. Then the third one is to solve quadratic equation by factoring and using the principle that a times b equals to 0, where a and b cannot be simultaneously 0 or simultaneously 0 for a quadratic equation. So these are some of the objectives that you can state. The fourth one is to draw the graph of quadratic function and use the graph to solve the corresponding quadratic equation and related problems. This is the end of this session also. And this session you have learned about the features of a good mathematics lesson objective.